Arsenal are 10 games away from potentially winning their first title since 2004. With the international break now here, it's time we get a massive update. From the latest injury news, including an update on William Saliba, to Arsenal's Premier League midfield targets, an important Arsenal player announcing his retirement. We'll also find out about the breaking news surrounding the Arsenal owners. Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Babs14. Welcome back to your boys channel, and I hope you guys are doing sensational during this international break. But what is happening at the Arsenal? Today we're gonna find out, so as per, smash a like on the video if you enjoy, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and help your boy on his road to 200,000 subscribers. But let's start off with an Arsenal injury update. Man United boss Erik ten Hag has been speaking about Arsenal and our injuries, and he's caused quite a bit of controversy. Ten Hag says, "I think we've only had one game when we've had the full squad available. Every other time in the season, we've had players suspended, injured or ill. Of course you then see Arsenal, and they almost have a full squad available all the time." The Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta has responded, and he says, "We've been carrying injuries throughout the season. We've had Smith Rowe out for 4 months, Gabriel Jesus out for 4 months, Alex Zinchenko out for 2.5 months, Thomas Partey out for a month and a half, and Eddie Nketiah out for a month and a half. We've had quite a lot of injuries already, but we've dealt with that." Arsenal haven't had their full squad available, and Erik ten Hag couldn't be more wrong. Gabriel Jesus, our main number 9, has missed 45% of the season. Thomas Partey missed 18, Zinchenko missing 26, and Emil Smith Rowe, one of our top goal scorers from last season, has missed 74%. Arsenal have had a host of injuries, but what Mikel Arteta has done is he's tried to keep the same dynamic as much as possible. Arsenal have made the least changes to the starting 11, but there's a reason behind that. Mikel Arteta doesn't force any changes. He tries to keep the same personnel week in, week out, because Arsenal have a winning formula, and there's no need to experiment. Mikel Arteta has also been very careful in terms of other competitions. The likes of Europa League, Carabao Cup and FA Cup have seen many first teamers rested. That's not been the same case with Erik ten Hag, who barely rests his key personnel, starts them in the Carabao Cup, Europa League and Premier League, and then wonders why his players keep getting injured. But since ten Hag spoke, the injuries have started pouring in, starting off with Takehiro Tomiyasu, taken off in the first 20 minutes against Sporting Lisbon, seen after the game walking out of the Emirates Stadium on crutches. It's a really bad injury for Tomiyasu, and things don't look good, as Arsenal have confirmed that Tomiyasu will be out for the rest of the season, sustaining a significant injury to his right knee. He's had successful surgery in London on Tuesday and will be ruled out for the remainder of the season. It's very unfortunate because of course he slipped and he stretched his knee, and Arsenal now have to be very careful at right back, having loaned out Cedric Soares. They've only got Ben White available, and I think that's why Mikel Arteta tried Thomas Partey there at the weekend. But what about William Saliba? Taken off against Sporting Lisbon with a back injury. Here he was at the Emirates Stadium for Arsenal's win against Crystal Palace. He seems in good spirits, but he wasn't available, and now it's been confirmed that Saliba has withdrawn from the France national team for the upcoming Euro 2024 qualifiers against the Netherlands and Republic of Ireland due to injury. It seems like this injury is worse than first expected, but Arsenal are keeping their cards very close to their chest, and Mikel Arteta hasn't given us any other details. However, reports in France have gone as far as saying Saliba could be out for several weeks. So far there has been no confirmation, but if Saliba is out, how on earth are Arsenal going to respond? Saliba is so vital for this Arsenal team. The most passes, the most touches. In terms of his future, according to Chris Wheatley, Saliba is expected to sign a new long-term deal at Arsenal very soon, with the Saka deal all agreed. Saliba's deal is very close. We've also got an update on Eddie Nketiah, who has missed the last few Arsenal games, but has recently posted an update with the caption, "On the comeback step by step." Nketiah is currently suffering with an ankle injury, but all reports have claimed that post-international break, he's not that far away, he could be available, and make no mistake, off the bench, a player like Nketiah can be very useful, especially when Arsenal need a goal. But talking of goal scorers, let's talk Erling Haaland, the Man City goal machine that Arsenal are fighting in the title race. Well, he is set to miss the international break, having picked up a groin injury, with reports confirming that Haaland has left the Norway squad. This could be gargantuan news, but also at the same time it could be just mind games. Is this Haaland trying to get himself a bit of a rest to keep himself fresh and available for the return of the Premier League? The severity of the injury hasn't been confirmed, but what's worth pointing out is during his time at Borussia Dortmund, Haaland did miss a lot of games via muscular injuries. But in terms of the international break, Arsenal have quite a few players going. You also have the Arsenal number 5, Thomas Partey, and it seems like he has arrived to Ghana duty alongside the Arsenal physiotherapist Simon Murphy. There's been no reports of any Partey injury, so this must be Arsenal just being safe and precautionary, sending one of their physios to make sure Partey stays fit and available, because he's a very important player and Arsenal need to ensure that he's ready to go post the international break. But then you have the Arsenal Brazilians, all three Gabriels, Martinelli, Magalhaes and Jesus, and none of them have been selected for the recent Brazil squad. Brazil are still without a manager, having let go of Tite after the World Cup. The exclusion of Gabriel Magalhaes is definitely a surprise. Ever since the return of the World Cup, this guy has been outstanding, he's been flawless. But also in terms of Gabriel Martinelli, 6 goals in 6 games, the fact that he's not there is also a bit of a shambles. But I can totally understand Gabriel Jesus just returning from a long-term injury. There's no need to force him too soon. Ultimately, it might be disappointing for the players, but in the case of Arsenal, 3 very important players rested, recuperated, and they're going to be fresh after the international break. You also have Arsenal's English players, and here's Aaron Ramsdale arriving for England international duty. And you've also got Bukayo Saka, and here he is arriving, being welcomed by Arsenal target Declan Rice. And he says, bro, he's been on FaceTime with Kim Kardashian, he doesn't want us anymore. Bukayo has gone global, this guy is becoming a superstar. But what about Ben White, one of the standout right backs in the Premier League this season? For whatever reason, he's not been selected. Now, Ben White was at the World Cup with the squad but didn't play a single minute and then left the camp early, with reports since claiming there was some sort of disagreement with the England coaches. Another player that has missed out is Arsenal's star boy on loan, Folarin Balogun, one of the top goal scorers in Liga, more league goals than Lionel Messi, but not enough for Gareth Southgate. Balogun has since posted an Instagram story with the caption of "Go where you're appreciated, be easy." Instead, both him and Emil Smith-Rowe have been named in England's under-21 squad, but he has since withdrawn with injury. Balogun has been on fire in Liga and he continues to impress. And this weekend he was once again on the score sheets as Reims lost to Marseille 2-1, with Balogun scoring his 17th goal of the season. When you're outscoring Lionel Messi and competing with Kylian Mbappe and then not being selected, I don't think Balogun's going to be too happy. The fact that he's also eligible to play for the USA, Balogun's international future is definitely going to be very interesting. But what about his Arsenal future? Well, Balogun says a lot of people might forget, but I am still an Arsenal player and it's still one of my dreams to play in the first team. We might have Gabriel Jesus or we might have Eddie Nketiah, but Balogun's form is simply too good to ignore. With those 17 goals, that is the most out of any under-21 player in Europe's top 5 leagues, just above Gabriel Martinelli and Bukayo Saka. The craziest part is that could be the Arsenal front three going into the future. Can you imagine the hype instead if Arsenal were signing a player like Folarin Balogun? Arsenal have something special on their hands, and him thriving for Reims in Liga is another example of Arsenal maximising the loan system. And as pointed out here, Arsenal have the highest percentage in all of Europe in terms of players out on loan. To gain that first team experience, to grow as players, Arsenal have reaped the rewards in the past. The prime example, William Saliba last season at Marseille. The impact that he has made has been outstanding, and next up, you've got the likes of Charlie Patino, Folarin Balogun. Comment down below which other Arsenal players do you believe need to be loaned out next. Moving on to the latest transfer news. Now let's talk about midfielders and Moses Caicedo. As according to Peter Roque, Arsenal are planning a fresh bid for Brighton midfielder Moses Caicedo this summer. Let's not forget, of course, he was the prime target in January, £70 million offered but rejected. But Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that Arsenal still have interest and Caicedo wants to make a top move this summer. And as you can see in terms of his heat map, he covers a lot of areas, but he does have a left-hand side bias. Caicedo's numbers are certainly very impressive, constantly dropping 7 out of 10 performances. Caicedo is a fantastic duel winner, and in his last league game against Crystal Palace, he won possession 11 times, more than any other player on the pitch. The fact that he's only 21 means he's got so much potential, and as the Brighton CEO Paul Barber says on whether Arsenal's £70 million bid for Moses Caicedo was close to their valuation, he says only if they wanted half the player. Joking aside, we never provide these numbers. It always amuses us when we see numbers in the media because they've not come from us. Arsenal's main target instead is Declan Rice, and Fabrizio Romano has given an update, confirming that Declan Rice is expected to leave in the summer. Chelsea and Arsenal discussed him internally, but the race is open. Out of contract in 2024, 1 year left in the summer, this is the time for West Ham to cash in on the player. Ben Jacobs says, even at the lower end of estimations, he's going to cost around £75 million. David Moyes has said on record he believes that Rice should cost equivalent to Enzo Fernandez's British transfer record fee. So Arsenal are prepared to enter that type of race, and they are confident of winning it as well. The reason why Arsenal are so confident is because the players seems to be very happy about the idea of moving to the Emirates Stadium. And here you have a recent video of Rice, Saka and Arsenal legend Ian Wright. They're joking, they're having a laugh. And Ian Wright has previously said that he knows of players that are waiting to join Arsenal if we get into the Champions League, where it's almost certain that Arsenal are going to return to the Champions League. And is Ian Wright referring there to Declan Rice? But why exactly is Mikel Arteta so hungry for Rice? Well, just like Caicedo, Rice is an elite duel winner, and in 2022 he won possession back 302 times, the most out of any player in all of Europe. Mikel Arteta is trying to build a team full of duel monsters. We all know about the scene in the Arsenal documentary where he says, "When I lose a duel, I'm upset." Arsenal already have the best player in the league in terms of winning the ball back in the defensive third, and that being William Saliba. But he also have Martin Odegaard, who's won the ball back the most times in the final third out of any player in Europe. Many fans over the years have claimed that Arsenal aren't as physical as they used to be. Patrick Vieira, Gilberto Silva, Sol Campbell. You look at the Arsenal team now, we are starting to return to those days. The likes of Partey, Xhaka, Saliba, Gabriel are all physical monsters. If we can sign Declan Rice, that will be another player as Arteta continues to build a physical machine. Now let's talk about number 8. Arsenal have one of the best in the business, and that is the captain Martin Odegaard, who this year alongside Kevin De Bruyne has the joint highest goal involvements by central midfielders in the Premier League. And actually when you compare him to De Bruyne, it's quite a battle. Odegaard has a lot more goals. De Bruyne has double the assist. They're both very good chance creators, and Odegaard is a slightly better dribbler. I believe the long-term plan for Mikel Arteta is to have a similar player to Martin Odegaard also on the left-hand side to truly maximise Arsenal's attacking potential. Some fans have called for the need for a profile like Ilkay Gundogan, but what about the player himself? Well, Gundogan's out of contract at the end of the season, and reports have claimed that Man City could be willing to let their captain Ilkay Gundogan leave for free in the summer, with the Premier League champions unwilling to hand the midfielder a 2-year contract, and Arsenal have interest. 32, soon turning 33, he certainly has a vast amount of experience. This year his goal numbers have gone down, but that's because Man City now have an out-and-out goal scorer in Erling Haaland. The best of Gundogan was back in 2020-21, helping Man City win the league title with 13 goals from midfield. Gundogan's got a fantastic ability to arrive late in the box, and we have seen it work time and time again. In fact, last year in the final game of the season, title on the line against Aston Villa, there was Ilkay Gundogan with 2 very important goals. Some fans might be against it because of the age, but Mikel Arteta has shown with the signings of Jorginho and Trossard, he wants to add experienced players, and he has seen their impact, the way they've improved the Arsenal first team and the squad depth. For an Arsenal team that has so many young players, imagine the likes of Charlie Patino learning alongside Ilkay Gundogan. The issue that Arsenal would have though is Gundogan is also attracting a lot of interest, especially from Xavi and Barcelona. If he's available on a free transfer, would you take Ilkay Gundogan? But what about Chelsea's Mason Mount? Well, according to Fabrizio Romano, Mount has now appointed a new agent and understands it's very likely that he will leave Chelsea in July. This year Mount hasn't been at his best, but the year before under Thomas Tuchel, 11 goals and 10 assists. Mount has shown potential, and as his heat map shows this season, he has played a lot of minutes on the left hand side, a similar area to Granit Xhaka. Even though the likes of Liverpool and Man United want him, Mason Mount may be someone of interest to Mikel Arteta. What about Alexis Mac Allister? Well, Arsenal have serious competition, as reports in Argentina claim that Pep Guardiola has held talks with Alexis Mac Allister, and the World Cup winner is now a serious option for Man City in the summer transfer window. With Gundogan leaving Man City, a space is certainly opening, but in the case of Mac Allister, he's a player that Arsenal also want to sign, reportedly available for around 60 million euros. As Arsenal fans, I wouldn't be too concerned with Man City, and that's because these guys have another target, Borussia Dortmund's Jude Bellingham, and reports have now claimed that Man City are growing in confidence that they can sign Jude Bellingham in the summer. Moving on to the other Arsenal news today, and starting off with the summer of 2023, it's not that far away and Arsenal have their plans set and confirmed. Arsenal are once again going stateside, and in their upcoming pre-season tour of the US, they are delighted to announce that they will be facing the MLS All-Stars in Washington DC. Led by their head coach in Wayne Rooney, it's going to be quite a spectacle, and there's going to be a lot of excited Gooners in the USA. Now let's talk about Mesut Ozil, as the ex-Arsenal player has confirmed at the age of 34 his official retirement. Mesut says, "I've had the privilege of being a professional football player for almost 17 years now, and I feel incredibly thankful for the opportunity. But in recent weeks and months, having also suffered some injuries, it's become more and more clear that it's time to leave the big stage of football." Posting a photo with the caption "Yar Gunners Yar" and some of his best Arsenal moments, Arsenal have posted a lovely tribute video with the caption "Thanks for the memories, wishing you all the best with your retirement, Mesut." As an Arsenal fan that saw Mesut's entire Arsenal career, it feels a little bit emotional. Mesut was one of my favourite players. The superstar signing back in 2012, what a moment that was. The king of making chances and assists. Mesut Ozil holds a record for most chances created by a player for his teammates in a single Premier League season with 146 in 2015-16. Mesut holds a record for the most chances created in a single top 5 European season, a single Premier League game, and a single 90-minute Champions League game. He won the World Cup with Germany, and this guy is up there with the very best. And spanning across 10 seasons from 2008-9 to 17-18, Ozil assisted 122 goals, second to only Lionel Messi. For Arsenal, he was a massive signing with massive pressure, but he was the one that helped Arsenal break our trophy droughts. It wasn't a fairy tale ending, but there was no denying of his magic and brilliance. Some will see him as an Arsenal legend, others a cult hero. All I can say is a happy retirement to the true assist king. Now let's talk about the Arsenal Arsenal owners. It's been officially confirmed that Stan and Josh Kroenke have become Arsenal co-chairmen. Stan Kroenke says, "Our objectives and ambitions will never waver. To field the team that can compete for trophies at the highest level and lead our club in the way that inspires our passionate supporters around the world." They've certainly backed Mikel Arteta through frickin' thin. Arsenal were of course the highest spenders back in 2021. But with Arsenal about to return to the Champions League, this summer is the moment where we're going to find out these guys' true ambitions. And with all of the expensive reported transfer targets, it looks like Arsenal are going to have another heavy spending window. But talk to me down below in the comments. What are your current thoughts of the Arsenal owners? And having seen the process so far, do you believe in their ambition for the future? But that is the video there and there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you have, don't forget to smash a like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you want to follow your boy on all of his social medias, then the links are down below in the description. But that was all of today's latest Arsenal news, and with the international break now here, Arsenal fans rest, recover, recuperate, because after it we've got a very stressful title charge to resume. So I will see you next time, take care of yourselves, and in a bit.